Hey there. Every single day we use language. We speak, we write, we think, and we're constantly turning these simple, individual words into really complex thoughts. And honestly, we don't even think about it. But have you ever just stopped and wondered what the hidden rules are that make all of that possible? Well, today we're going to dive into that incredible invisible architecture of our language.
So think about this for a second. What if just one single letter had the power to control an entire sentence? It sounds like a riddle, right? A bit of a stretch. But what if I told you that this happens all the time, in pretty much every sentence you say? Yeah, that's the mystery we're going to unravel today.
Okay, so to get how this works, we really need to look at what you could call the two main pillars of language. The first one is all about the secret life that happens inside a word, and the second one is all about how those words get together and dance to create meaning.
So on one side, you've got morphology. Think of it like a word's anatomy class, It's looking at all the little building blocks, the prefixes, the suffixes, the roots that make up a word. And then on the other side, you have syntax. Now this is the art of arrangement. It's the grammar, the rules that tell us how to string those words together so they actually make sense.
But here's where it gets really cool. These two fields, they're not living in separate worlds. No way. They are deeply, deeply connected. They meet at this crucial intersection, a place where the anatomy of just one word actually dictates the choreography for the entire sentence.
Linguists have a name for this meeting point, of course. They call it the morphosyntax interface, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the place where the internal rules of a word, the morphology, directly influence the external rules of a sentence, the syntax. This is where tiny changes inside a word make huge waves in the sentence all around it. And there's this really beautiful way to think about it. It's like the bond between a soul and a body. You can't really change one without affecting the other, right? A tiny change in the word, that's the body, sends this ripple effect through the sentence's meaning, that's its soul.
All right, so enough with the theory. Let's put this to the test. How can one tiny little piece of a word, I'm talking a single letter, have so much power? Let's look at a super simple, everyday example.
We'll start with our base word cook. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's just sitting there, full of potential. But just watch what happens when we make one tiny little change to its form.
Yep, we just add a single letter, an S, to make cooks. I mean, it seems so insignificant, right? But believe it or not, that one letter has just sent a powerful set of instructions out to the entire sentence.
And this, right here, is the amazing part. That single S is doing a ton of work. It's telling us that the subject has to be singular. It's telling us it has to be third person, a he, a she, or an it. And it's also telling us that the action is happening right now, in the present tense. All of that information is packed into one letter that is now basically the boss of the whole sentence.
And this power goes even further. A verb's internal form, its morphology, it actually dictates how many other pieces, or what linguists call arguments, the sentence needs to make sense. So for example, a verb like snores is totally complete with just one argument. You just need the person who's snoring. But a verb like ate needs two. You need the eater and the thing being eaten. And then you have verbs like put, which need three to be complete. Who did the putting, what they put, and where they put it. The verb's identity sets the rules for the whole game.
So this deep connection isn't just some dusty old rule in a grammar book. It's an incredibly powerful tool. By just changing a word's form, we can totally reshape a sentence on the fly, adding or even removing information to shift the focus.
This slide shows the two sides of that coin perfectly. On the one hand, with the passive voice, we change the verb's form, and that lets us remove an argument. The police arrested the thief becomes the thief was arrested. See? We don't even need to mention the police anymore. On the other hand, using a causative lets us add an argument. The water boiled becomes the girl boiled the water, bringing in the person who caused the whole thing to happen.
And if you want to see just how blurry the line between a word part and a whole word can get, you have to look at clitics. These things are fascinating. They're like linguistic chameleons. When it comes to sentence structure, they act like their own words. But when it comes to sound, they just latch onto other words like a suffix. They literally live on that morphosyntax interface. And you use these all the time without even realizing it. Proclitics latch onto the front of a word, like the S in he's coming. Enclitics latch onto the end, like the S in Ali's book. In both of these cases, a whole word like is or has gets shrunk down to a single sound. But, and this is the key, it still carries the full grammatical weight of the original word, shaping the sentence around it.
So what does this all add up to? Well, it shows us that language isn't just some random pile of words we throw together. No, it's a sophisticated, beautifully balanced system where the tiny mechanics inside a word and the big structure of a sentence are in this constant, really elegant conversation with each other.
This interface, this connection between the small and the large, well, that's the engine of creativity in our language. It's the magic, if you will, that lets us take a limited number of words and just generate a limitless universe of new thoughts and ideas. It really is the secret to our expressive power.
So the next time you speak, or even just think in sentences, try to listen to yourself. You're not just picking words, you are operating this incredibly elegant system without even trying. And that leads to a final question for you. What other hidden rules are you using right now without even knowing they exist?